What's up, guys? This is B Showers, and I am doing this video because I wanted to show off what I think is the strongest and most flexible build that you can run Twister on. And I want to share this because I feel like this is probably the strongest build I've seen in terms of completing every bit of content in the game. No matter what you want to do, whether it's single target, you're clearing out temple, you're doing simulacrum, anything you're doing, it's really going to be effective in terms of damage, in terms of survivability, in terms of speed, and everything. Um, I have some really high-end gear here, but you don't need the level of equipment that I have. I'm going to explain the build after I show you guys a quick little demonstration of what it's capable of doing. I'll do a little bit of just to see, show you guys the single target damage there, and I'll do a little bit of mapping as well to point out what it can do. So let's find a map with the decent layout. Let's do assembly. Now there's gonna be a few things happening here. I have comets going off, which actually do a decent amount of damage. I have herald chaining happening at the same time. Temp chain slowing down all the mobs, so I don't really have to worry about taking damage. I'm freezing. Exploding everything. I'm gonna look and find where the temple area is because I do need that. Let's see. But as you can see, I am not paying attention to anything that's on this map and what's happening. Everything is just getting absolutely steamrolled. Of course, I have a Gloom Shrine. Every time I record, there's a Gloom Shrine. But again, I'm not even paying attention to what I'm picking up on the map. Hence why I even have the shrine, which I would have taken otherwise. Let's see. I'm rocking the Twister MTX because when I run Temple with my guildmates, nobody can see what's happening. That's the only downside of Twister, really. You want to talk about visual clarity? Don't talk to me. Alright? You ain't worried about that right now. Alright. Where is it? Sorry, I got the overlay with the map. Can't see where I'm going. You know, new player shit. What we got? Wait, did I already take it? I might have taken it already. Let's see. Nope. Shrines. I'll do this while I'm here.
No escape.
Alright. Oh, there it is. There we go. Alright, get them out of here. About to run up on a boss. Okay. Now, just then, I threw a lightning spear. I'm sorry, lightning spear. I threw my spear to get the extra gained as cold. There we go. Alright, so wipes out bosses, and on this map we have nothing really crazy that's going to add to monster life, but it doesn't really matter what the mods are. I don't even look at the mods on the map. I just run it. Alright, so that's a little quick map showcase. Alright. Don't judge my inventory, y'all. It's disrespectful. Hold on. I'm playing on controller here. Currency exchange. Take out some splinters and let's run that. I refuse to edit anything. I am not trying to be a streamer. I really just want to get this build out there so people can follow it because it's a lot of fun. It's strong as hell. At this point in the league, people have currency. I'll get into the build in terms of like the items and stuff like that in a sec. But we're gonna pop just right quick. Toss these in the row. Already have them. You look at that. Just save this here for now. Sorry for the lag. In advance. Now while I'm running these, I usually just push twister. I don't hit barrage or anything like that because again everything is popping. There's hell chaining happening, so I don't really care about having these big explosions of having to push an extra button right now. Right now, I just want to run to the top. I'm telling you guys, once you get this build going, it feels really good. The Oracle Ascendancy is just ridiculous, man. You know what another downside of this build? It's the fact that when you do it, it makes you not want to do anything else. Really? But if you're having fun, that's all that matters, right? Normally every league I'll make like a build for every class and everything, but I'm just enjoying this so much, and I really want to get to 100 this league. You know, I've only peaked at 98, and I feel like with the temple it's actually possible to get to 100 a lot quicker. I have a full-time job, I have responsibilities. I'm not trying to run a million maps to get 1 point of experience. Alright, so I'm going to let the buffs fall off. I'm actually going to let my frenzy charges fall off because without even trying, if I had go in there with full frenzies, he immediately pops. I'm letting the headhunter buffs fall off. I'll pick up these items in the meantime. So we're doing damage with Comet. We're doing damage with the Twisters, obviously. You know what? Let me put armor break on my Twister now. Set duration. There we go. Let that fall off. Alright. So we're going there with absolutely no buffs, no nothing. It'd be really embarrassing if I got smacked and died. Let me see. Okay. Alright, here we go. Alright, he's frozen already. Yeah, he's dead. I'm just telling y'all, man, the build is fire, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Now, if I wanted more single target damage, I would have gotten Herald of Thunder off. Oh. Would have gotten Herald of Thunder off there, and I would have put on War Banner to get 25% more damage to just do it in one cast, but y'all get the idea. What if I have to push 4 buttons to kill Uber? Fine. All right, so y'all saw the map showcase. Y'all saw me going through a pinnacle, and same thing goes for Arbiter, by the way, because I'm not really getting a whole bunch of like bounce on there. I'm only using, again, salvo and barrage to get my twisters out. So it wasn't like I needed a million twisters to hit the boss. If I do Arbiter, he goes down just the same. All right, so what do we have here? Key things. Let's get into the passage tree first, actually. Key things I'm doing is I'm scaling AoE. So my twisters are zero point 0.7 in terms of radius. I'm getting AoE here and skill effect duration, so that's a really strong node. I'm getting AoE here, and I'm getting AoE here, as well as anointing catapult, which is down here. All right, gives me area effect. So that'll get you to 0.7 on your twisters. You don't gotta put magnified effect 2 in there or anything like that. Secondly, prod speed is very important. So we have prod speed coming from here. On my heroic tragedy, I have a little bit of prod speed, but this is not important. This is not necessary to get it on your heroic tragedy. I don't want you guys going crazy trying to like get the perfect heroic tragedy because we don't have the calculator in this game. I have 2 of these nodes here for 50% increased damage. Again, not important because we have so much increased damage coming from spirit, which I'll show you guys in a bit. All right, so and we have our AoE out of the way. Those are like the 2 major things besides skill effect duration that you really want to have to scale up your twisters. I got the skill effect duration there. Down here, another reason why the Oracle Ascendancy is so great for this, because you have really good nodes really close for area effect and skill effect duration. Okay. Now, defenses. I like getting at least 5,000 ES. It just feels good to me. It helps you avoid a lot of one-shots. So when I could pick up ES on the tree, and this is probably not the optimal way to get it, I just didn't care. You can get it in this area here. We're getting skill speed along the way on our weapon set 1. Now, here's a big thing. This jewel is amazing. So I got this early league for like 60 div. Now it's like, it's ridiculous. I don't even know what it's going for right now. I'm saying this right now. You do not need the damage gain is extra cold. The plus 12 to spirit, or just getting a spirit roll and just dividing it yourself, you can get those pretty cheap now. The gain is extra cold damage is great for helping me freeze things, but it's not necessary. I can show you guys how to replace that mod in a sec. Not important. Get the 12 spirit. That's important because each 12 spirit is giving us a lot of damage because of the threaded light. And also it's giving us more room to put in the tech that I'm going to show you in a sec. All right. Now, rage. Another reason why Oracle is so powerful for this build. We're getting, was that 21 rage here? 21 maximum rage? That's crazy. And I'm not worried about the fastest start, the downside of this, because again, we have eternal rage going. So that's all good. I'm not too concerned about that. But that is 21% more damage while you have rage. Plus, using Berserk on weapon set 2 scales that up like another 80%. 75, 80%. So that's big. That's like probably closer to 40% more damage just from those 3 nodes right here. Okay. Other things that we want to point out. The beautiful thing about the Oracle Ascendancy is the fact that you basically get the from nothing jewels without taking up a jewel slot. So it really makes the build very point efficient for grabbing certain things, and it gives you a lot more flexibility to still do like high-end damage. All right, we want frenzy charges and frenzy duration, so that's why I'm taking these nodes over here. And we want speed. Now, I did change some things in my tree so I could take this to get a little bit more speed out of this node here. But really, that probably wasn't super point efficient. I actually do damage with my Whirling Slash, because I have a rare weapon with flat fizz on it that's pretty decent and some flat elemental, um, and decent speed. But that node's not important. I do think it's good to have a little accuracy in the build, uh, where you can have it in. So I actually use that with the Spirit Gem, Spirit Support Gem. We have this node, gives us increased attack speed. That's good to take. Resonance for Frenzy Charge generation from Breaking Armor. And all these nodes here have some sort of benefit to us in our build. I take this on weapon set 1 just to get a little bit more knockback, but that's not super important either. Okay. Now, I like to scale freeze. This node's great. Look at that. Skill effect duration. Ugh, love it. These nodes are great because we're going to scale freeze, especially when I'm using my whatever you call that, Cine Aquo, Aquo, whatever these are called, whatever these are. This is amazing. Immobilize enemy at 41% build up instead of 100%. So a target is immobilized if it cannot move, for example, due to being frozen, pinned, heavy stunned, or electrocuted. Okay. Twister does a lot of fizz damage, so it does heavy stun, so you're like basically making bosses useless. And also with this, I'm freezing. So that's why I have the magnitude of non-damaging elements. Um, I don't know if that's working to make things freeze faster, but I'm telling myself it does, so it does. And we have some cold flat here, which is helping us get that, as well as the cold flat from here. Now, as I said before, on my spear, this is not even like an amazing spear. On my spear, that 20% damage gain is extra physical. You can make that extra cold, and you can get the extra cold there to really help you freeze things a lot better. The reason why I went for extra fizz is because I wanted my heralds to chain off of each other before I got the Spirit of the Wolf Charm. I do not feel like crafting another spear, but if I did craft another spear, I would get lightning damage on there or fire damage on there because, again, I'm running Trinity. Okay? So I feel like that pretty much covers a passive tree. Yeah, y'all get the idea. I'm getting ES, Proj Speed, Skill Effect Duration, Area of Effect, Frenzies. Alright, so y'all get that. Now, this is expensive now anyway. But when I got it, it wasn't. Inflation's a bitch, ain't it? So, on this, I have Mystical Rage, which gives 2% increased spell damage per rage, which gets scaled up by using the not right now. I don't want to draw a blank right now. It gets scaled up by using Berserk. There we go. All right, so it gets scaled up by using Berserk. So that's more like 3% increased spell damage, or 4% maybe, but let's say 3%. I don't know if it rounds up or not. But you see the numbers here, how much that impacts your damage. That's huge. So if you can anoint that, cool. You might lose some of your area of effect and prod speed, but that's okay. If you can't get it on a Megalomaniac, that's fine. Okay? The dream scenario Megalomaniac for me would be one that has Catapult on it and Mystical Rage. But nobody's running Simulacrums right now, hence why Megalomaniacs are so damn expensive. You can, however, get a Catapult Megalo and anoint Mystical Rage. But this here is so much of a damage boost. I can't say it enough. It's like 30% damage right there. It's huge. All right. And that does nothing for me. 30% increased present area effect, 4% increased spirit. So I use that to get a little bit more spirit, to eke out a little bit more spirit because I needed it. But Mystical Rage is huge. Catapult is huge. Those are the two nodes that you want to make sure that you're getting some way, somehow. All right. Now, onto the gear. A double-socketed Flying Spear with at least 400 fizz damage and as high proj speed as you can get on it, I divine this up, is great. Getting increased spirit reservation efficiency of skills is great. Now you'll notice I have no crit anything on anywhere. I do not care about anything with crit. I'm only using crit to propagate my comets. And my comets are actually doing a decent amount of damage because when I use the Cine Accio, whatever it's called, I'm actually making the comets ignore the elemental resistances of the frozen enemies, even though I'm using Rakiata's Flow. It on Twister, I don't mind that because it happens after the Rakiata's Flow, so it's not really messing up your damage with Twisters, and it's also making my Living Bomb do more damage, and it's making my Comets do more damage. All right, so back to the items. So that's my spear. Is it optimal? No. Could I maybe just get more attack damage on it? The reason why I want to gain as damage on it is because I want to basically have my comets doing damage, as much damage as I possibly can without taking too much of my twister damage. So I'm putting points there. All right, now that's your weapon set 2. Your weapon set 1 is just for speed. But I'm getting some speed and I'm getting some damage out of this, and I have 2.5 attacks per second. This is expensive as hell. Okay, you can get the Sky Sliver and get something like 2.35 or 2.4 and be just fine with that. You don't need something this crazy. 2.33, 2.35, you'll be fine. You can take some of these like ES nodes out. You don't really need it if you're not using this body armor. I'm using this for the +1 to skills, but if you get a regular ES body armor, you don't really need as much point investment into ES. You can put those into attack speed to make up for not having a spear like mine. Okay. You know, I have the flask, the Levianga's flask, or whatever it's called, so I have that going. You can go down here and get plenty of attack speed. I just don't need it because I have enough. So I wanted to put those points into ES to make running this a little bit more palatable in terms of survivability. All right. So you do want to have 2 unset rings. That's key. These rings are GG rings, okay? You'll notice I have like no rarity on my build, but that's because I run with a rarity bot in my guild. But I have a rarity set up which gets me like 120, 130 rarity. If I wanted to, I can get 150 and be fine. And still have my resistance capped and still one-shot everything. I just like doing damage that makes no freaking sense. Hence why I have the setup I have right now. But you don't need this, okay? You don't need this. You don't need any of this stuff. The unset rings, just having unset rings with as much flat and res on it as possible is key. You're gonna need one with leech damage as life and leech damage as mana. Or you can just get res on these and get that on your gloves. That's fine too. You can run Ingenuity here. That's fine too. The Headhunter, again, is just for the sake of just doing just obscene damage for no reason. But even without it, as you saw, with 2 Twister casts, I killed Zesh. No problem. Right? Just 2 Twister casts with no frenzies whatsoever. If I walked in there, even without Headhunter buffs, and I did my Twister cast, he would have popped immediately. Again, the damage is obscene. Why is the damage so obscene? Couple things. One, I had the Threaded Light here, which is 15% increased spell damage per 10 spirit. Get this early if you don't have one already. This is huge. A lot of people, when they're scaling spell damage to do Twister damage, they use the Iron Grasp, which I have, and I did that early league because I didn't have the budget to really invest in Spirit crazy. But this setup is better for just having more flexibility with your Spirit by stacking Spirit. I'm getting Spirit a number of different ways. I'm getting Spirit from... Where are we at here? I'm getting Spirit from these jewels. These Grand Spectrum jewels. So I have those socketed on my passive tree. Okay. And here, you'll notice I have res on them. They're like 40 div right now, but they were like 6 div when I got them. You don't need the resistances on this. You get that to cap things or just min max a bit, but not necessary. All right. So I got Spirit there. I got Spirit here. And I have Spirit here. I don't need all that Spirit. I have extra Spirit. Getting the reservation efficiency of skills is nice to have that. Not necessary, but it's nice to have. You know, the res there if you want, whatever. Yeah, that's a suffix. So you get another res there if you want. Boots, res. I don't care about movement speed, but it's hard to find high res boots without movement speed on them if you're getting them from crafters. Now, the glove slot is very flexible. I have this because it makes the Herald of Thunder freeze things better, which gives me more chilled ground. But again, as you saw, I don't even... Yo, that Zesh kill was without me even having any elemental ground. Alright? But it's just nice for freezing things more with that skill. And also freezing things with my Spear Stab, which is going to give me more damage gain as extra cold for just more damage. Unnecessary, but it's there. Okay? Let's see. Level projectile skills here. I got Spirit here too. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, okay. So ADD. Back to the glove slot. Flexible. Now, if I want to just focus on doing some, more damage with twisters or whatever the case, I can put this in. If I want more speed, I should say, I can put this in. Unnecessary. This here is if I'm really worried about survivability, which is rare. I'll put this in so I have leech for ES. I am unkillable when I'm wearing this, but I also feel unkillable when I'm wearing this. It's just you'll never see your ES go low if you're rocking these gloves. You don't need the +1 frenzies. That's nice to have. You don't need the 2 sockets. That's nice to have. You don't need any of this stuff other than just what the glove does. It gives you some flat. It gives you a little bit of attributes. It gives you some lightning res. That's nice. You don't really need to invest a lot in these gloves. It might be nice to just get a pair of these regular and corrupt them. Just get a bunch of these and corrupt them until you get your +1 frenzy charges. Or just buy it with the +1 frenzy charges. I feel like that's the biggest upgrade you can put to these gloves, really, because you'll get more twisters out there, and it just feels nice for mapping. Now, in terms of charms, I hate Ignite and I hate Freeze. Stun I don't really worry about because I slow everything down so I'm not getting stunned too often. Blasphemy is huge for that. So in Blasphemy I'm running Temporal Chains, Heightened Curse. You can drop this if you need to save yourself some spirit. Slow Potency, Magnified Area. Not sure if that does anything for me. And this doesn't do anything for me either, really. But I can really take this out. I don't even know I had this in there. That should come out. We have Barrage, which you need to multiply your twisters. Eternal Rage gives you 6 rage per second at the level I have it at. It's nice because your rage is always capped. And I'll show you why this is so dope in a sec. I'm getting 75% effect on Berserk right now. If I get one more level in Berserk, and if I put this in a Berserk, that'll go up to 81%. So I'll actually do more damage if I do that. I just do this to have a little bit more spirit reservation and flexibility, so I can maximize how many of these I have in there, since I'm not running a scepter. But I don't need this. I could drop this, and I can take this from here, and I can put it into Berserk and get that to 81%. Alright? In fact, let me do that. Let me take this out. I really don't need clarity at all, since I have Leech for mana. And I'll put this here. I'm going to take this out. And I can take this out of Trinity, because it's not doing anything for me at that level. And I can put this here. 81%. Alright. We're running Elemental Conflux. Now, this gives me 72% more elemental damage with Affected Element. It's good to have many sources of gained as extra as you can. I have gained as extra fire coming from my Heart of the Well Diamond. I also get it from here, since we always crit. Attacks gain 50% of damage as extra fire damage for 15 seconds when critically hitting with supported skills. So I'm getting fire damage. So even if it rolls fire damage, which I have the least of in my build, like I don't have it here. I have 5% here. I have some from the Heart of the Well. It's fine. I'm good. I still have fire damage. So if it rolls fire damage, my least favorite, I'm getting damage there. If it rolls lightning, I have lightning damage on each of my rings, and if I'm rocking these gloves, I also have it on the gloves. So it buffs all of my elemental damage, and obviously I have a ton of cold damage. So if it hits cold, the damage is just crazy. Like, it's just unnecessary. But I have this in there. If I were to drop any spirit gem, it would be this one. But it probably gives me, I would say, on average, 20% more damage. Okay? These two together, this is really a priority you want to have in your build. And Trinity is a priority that you want to have in your build. Trinity is huge. Let me put this, replace this with this. Alright. Still at the same thing. Alright. So, now let's talk the cast on crit stuff. A cast on critical. I'm just going to put this here for now. This is not optimal. I'm just putting this here just to... It's bothering me not having all sockets filled. Okay, so cast on critical. I have Comet, which gets empowered by the fire remnants that I get out of Living Balm. Love this combo, because I'm picking up remnants all the time. Harmonic Remnants makes it so I get more remnants, and also I get them from further away. So if I'm standing near the boss, like close to the boss, and I cast Twister, I'm getting constant fire fusions on my comets. So that's great. And Spell Cascade just adds more living bombs, which gives me more infusions, and it adds more comets, which gives me more damage. Alright. Now Heralds. We have Herald of Thunder, which, showing a little tooltip right now. Let me show you what the kind of damage is I get on Herald of Thunder. Alright. How to switch weapon sets. Crazy damage on Herald of Thunder. You're going to see it moving around depending on what element that I'm taking on with Elemental Conflux, but you get the idea. So inside of this, I have Shock on it. I'm not sure if that gives me Herald Propagation, but I have it just in case. I have Uric Smelting to break more armor. I have Armor Explosion in here to basically do the Herald chaining off of itself thing, where the Armor Explosion ends up freezing enemies because I have damage gain as extra, or shocks enemies because of this. Since I have like 25%, 24% extra chaos damage on the tree. A magnified area just makes it spread further out. All right. If I run into a pack of mobs and I hit them with anything, they usually explode, and it just wipes them. Like I have the Gloom Shrine on or something like that. Let's go up to Twister. Well, let's do Herald Thunder since I was talking Heralds. I have Tool of Stillness to make it freeze. You don't need this. These expensive gems are unnecessary. But I have this in here. Frost Nexus to give me chill ground. I like that. Freeze to make more likely that I'm going to freeze things. Armor Explosion and Armor Break. These are also giving me frenzy charges because of resonance. Now, inside here, I have heightened accuracy for a little more speed. Since I'm always at max rage, I can't use Rage 3 gem. So that's the only thing that sucks, but it's fine. I have plenty of speed. Rigwall's Ferocity. This is why we use this on weapon set 1. These are very expensive now because people are starting to use more skills to move. Like Prada's, thing that he's doing where he's using Earth Shatter or something. He's using something to move fast with a mace, a one-handed mace. So he's using it. So a lot of people are copying that. And plus, if you're playing a Twister build and using Whirling Slash to move, then obviously you're using that. So it's getting up there. Blazing Critical, free damage gain is extra. Love it. Rapid Attacks 3. And Knockback. This is flexible. You can put something else in. I just like knocking back enemies. I love having that in there. Just a good quality of life. I would say this is probably the most flexible thing. Putting in magnified area probably makes more sense here, but it's fine. All right, ignore this crap that I have here. Those, I'm not using these. All right, so up here on Spear Throw, Batayer's Vengeance. 1% of damage gain is cold damage for 20 seconds. I believe this is scaled by Berserk. So I have 55 rage. Since I'm getting rage from those nodes you saw on the tree. And I'm getting rage from here. So it's 55% damage gain is extra. And then if Berserk scales that, then that's giving me like over 90-something% damage gain is extra cold. That's disgusting. So you'll see me sometimes while I'm mapping throw a spear throw out there to freeze and kill an enemy. And then at that point, the damage just flies through the roof. Freeze, y'all get the idea. Just makes it easier to freeze. Rage Forged. Love Rage Forged. Love it. And this is also on my Twister, which I'll show you in a sec. That right there is huge. I don't know if this gets scaled by rage effect. I doubt it. But 35% more damage by consuming 10 rage. And I'm always at max rage. Culling Strike, I don't need that, but it's there. I had that because I was using the gem that says if it coals an enemy, you get damage gain as lightning, but it wasn't working for me. Or I don't know if I was doing it wrong or what, but I didn't see the buff coming up, so I stopped using it. And Innervate gives me attacks gain 5% of damage to extra lightning for 5 seconds on killing, and I think that gets scaled by skill effect duration, so I have plenty of that. Alright. Now, on Twister, the bread and butter of the build, I have Rage Forge 2, Projectile Acceleration, which makes the prod speed nodes give me damage, but I'm not even worried about the damage from that. It's really just having your twisters move faster. It makes them hit things more often and gives you way more clear. My clear is like 3 or 4 screens away, and because of the Herald chaining, if I hit a pack of mobs, they all die if one mob dies. Armor Break 2, because I have Armor Break 3, because I have Armor Break 3 in my Heralds, if I'm doing content with a lot of pack size, I don't bother with this, and I just put in more duration. And getting my twisters up to 8 seconds using this is crazy. Like getting more duration 2 in there, prolonged duration 2 is just 8 seconds. It's like I could do 2 twister casts and overlap the normal time that twister is out for. Just disgusting. It's like double damage. Rock out his flow, inverts enemy elemental res. You can always just put another like deliberation in here or something like that if you don't have that. Again, you do so much damage, it's fine. Plus, if you freeze things, you're ignoring their non-negative res anyway. Hence the investment in freeze. Alright. So, that's big. And then salvo, you need that. This is mandatory. This is mandatory. And if you're running my build, you want to have that for sure. But these two are flexible. If you do not have Herald Chaining and you don't have the Wolf Charm, you might want to just keep this in there and forget the duration. So what? You have to cast Twister twice. The Twister will be back up if you have the nodes I have in my tree. So you really are fine. You don't need to add more duration. This is just crazy. And I have the ability to put it in my build. So that's the build in a nutshell. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer your questions. I am not a YouTuber. I'm just doing this for the love of the game. Hence why I'm not editing anything or anything like that. I'll make a mobalytics or I'll make something so I can actually show you guys the gems and stuff like that. But if you just look at my PoE Ninja, that has everything laid out there. Again, you do not need the level of gear that I have here. This +1 corrupt, you don't need this regalia. Not necessary. Just get a high ES as you can afford to cap your resistances and get as high a spirit as you can possibly have. In terms of spirit, what I have allocated, I have everything but my heralds and berserk on weapon set 1. The reason why I don't put berserk on weapon set 1 is because your life will drain while you have berserk. So to avoid that, I only use it when I'm casting Twister. But I have Blasphemy here, I have Trinity here, Elemental Conflux, Cast on Critical. I have those things. I don't need this either. I could drop this if I wanted to. But it's giving me more damage on my spells, hence why I have it. So if you can't fit the spirit, you're not quite getting there, it's fine. On weapon set 2, again, I'm over capped on spirit. I could change things around and get blasphemy on both weapon sets, which is a nice to have. It's not necessary. Like if I put that gem back onto, like if I move things around again, I can have enough spirit to have blasphemy on both weapon sets, but I don't need it. But anyway, things that you do need: Herald of Thunder, Trinity, Eternal Rage, Berserk, Cast on Critical, Herald of Ice, and Elemental Conflux. As well, yeah. I think it's Berserk. So yeah. I do so much damage, I don't need crit. It's a beautiful thing. Everything's a one-shot in the game. Arbiter doesn't matter. Uber Arbiter doesn't matter. Everything's a one-shot. So the build's crazy. Again, the speed is ridiculous. The survivability is great, especially if I'm using the Ascended Sanguis, which I'll do a quick mapping showcase with that on, so you guys can see. That's what a good map to... I'm only choosing a map just because I want something that's a clean, quick layout. Alright. Whatever, I'll just do this. But there's really no mod you have to worry about, no boss you have to worry about, nothing. There's nothing that breaks your character whatsoever. I do not look at my waystones. Unless I'm just rolling for rarity. Or a number of rare monsters. So this is my survivability setup. And I'm still freezing everything. I'm still getting my herald chains to happen. Just crushing it all. Look, still getting my chill ground. Now, I kind of talking like I'm talking to seasoned Twister players a little bit. But elemental ground is huge. It gives you 80% more damage of that element. But yeah, just... I think this boss has like an immediate phase type of thing. There you go. So there you go. There you go. Just... Even with my defensive setup, the damage is stupid. So again, you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Sorry I was kind of jumping around all over the place. But I feel like this is a good guide to help you guys understand how strong this build can be. In my opinion, this is the strongest build. I could be wrong. Maybe it's a Temporalis thing, but I just move faster than Temporalis, so I like it better than that. And I don't have to worry about like blinking all over the place and maybe blinking into a pack of mobs. I can kill things before I get near the thing. So like, and if they get close to me, they're dead. So I can cover myself in damage and be fine. I added duration on this. I could just sit this on top of like the abyss areas and have my twisters up for 8 seconds. Just look at that. Everything gets wiped. Come on, man. Like, nobody's messing with this. In my most humble opinion. As Prada says, the most humble streamer there ever was. So yeah. Thanks guys for watching. If you watched this long, and again, any questions you have, feel free to ask. Oracle of the Winds in game. And best of luck.